welcome to our second series of the evening. I am your host, Linebust, and we're here to see an NGS Division B West series tonight. I made sure it was B West because last time I did a B game, I said Northeast instead of Southeast, I believe, so I wanted to make sure to get this right. Anyway, tonight we'll be seeing the side of amateur opponents versus spooky ghosts. We saw amateur opponents ban out Braxis and Towers of Doom, while Spooky Ghost banned out the Battlefield of Eternity and Volsky Industries, so it led us to a Tomb of the Spider Queen. Or if you prefer to call it, Tomb of the Spider Butts. I don't know, some people just prefer calling it that, and that is their choice. Anyway, let's jump into the game. As I push this button, make a hand gesture, even though you can't see it. I want to point out one thing, there's a reason why I haven't quite started yet. Did you know this beetle will always spawn here at the start? I just want to point this out. Look at him. He's just there vibing, having a good old time. I will push play now, as we see him slowly being taken down and killed by the tower. Anyway, we're getting some smack talk out the gate. Love it. There we go. Found the right buttons. On the left-hand side of amateur opponent, we have Sonic's Bro 33 on the Greymane, Butte Holiday on the... I'm forgetting the name of him again. Old Man Deckard Cain. There we go. Sir Alan on the Sylvanas. Ulysses on the Leoric. And Ouija on the Varian. On the right hand side of Spooky Ghost, we see Rogoth on the Space Yoshi. I can't remember what he's called. Oh no, it is Dahaka. Boundrix on Tychus, Eric with a K on Kael'thas, Nullius on the ETC, and Little Wolf on the Little Dragon Brightwing. And we do see the fact bit is a early start by Spooky Ghost on this wave, getting it cleared relatively quickly. Very safe play from the side of amateur opponents currently, as we do know. As everyone calls Varian, he is a melee minion until 4 really, as he doesn't have his lockdown or his twin blades or his smash, depending on what you decide to go, but we're likely going to see Taunt here as he is rotating with V4 man. Also, I want to always just point out, I'm an offlaner, so here's your offlaners. Don't get used to seeing them in the early game. Oh, except they are coming up slightly. No? Yes? No? Maybe? I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Anyway. We just see these waves are getting taken quite close to gate, as this is how this comp has to play. Excellent blow up once they do get there. So I was about to say Erlen, but Sylvanas and Greymane can both do an excellent amount of burst, being even though Greymane is an auto attacker, as some would say, but Curse Bullet can go a long way, as well as Sylvanas does a lot of damage that does stack up over time. Anyway, we are getting this opening really fight thing happening, and not much too happening. We're going to look at some talents real quick. We do see that Sylvanas went to Might of a Banshee Queen. That Q build can be burst here. Maybe not quite the same effect as Dagger can be in the late game. However, Varian comps don't want to run too much in the late game, as the longer Varian is up, really, the longer Varian comps are up, the weaker they get, as Varian does want to take that early game advantage of their level 4 and run with it. Ulysses does scout that the enemy side of Spooky Ghosts are overstepping quite a bit, however that is them losing most of their health and going down very quickly. A bit brave rotating that way, considering they knew where the whole team was and could be backed on, but not the end of the world. It's still quite early game. There is 9 gems lost, however not ideal, but we did have Sonic's Bro pick it up. Right, he comes back, very good timing. Leoric, if you don't know, and just most people do not, I'm just going to quickly look at this, as Nullius goes in. Phase shift from the little dragon goes off, and that will be them back on half health. That is an excellent stun by the Kael'thas. So Ellen taking a decent amount of damage here, but will not go down. Yeah, again, we're just seeing a bit more aggression now coming out from the side of Ouija. Is looking very aggressive. Didn't quite see the Brightwing above them. Will be going for Eric with a K. Eric with a K gets taunted and then rooted, and that will be them being taken down. Ouija, however, goes down with 17 gems under it because of those towers. Not ideal. Did at least get the trade, and that will be Kael'thas. A bit slower on his stacks. I should mention that he is wanting those globes, and while he is down, he cannot collect them. And the other quest I should mention at this current point in time is Enhanced Agility on the Tahaka. This is an excellent stun coming out from Nalius, followed up by Little Wolf's Polymorph. However, not enough damage with Boundrix alone to take them out. Eric with a K now gets back to the allied side and gets that globe just in time, actually. Ouija, very aggressive positioning, doesn't quite have their team with him. We do see Butte collecting that soak. Gets the taunt. Oh, nope, just gets a charge off. There is the taunt. Not enough damage quite coming out of Brightwing as they did get the spell armor on themselves. Greymane goes in on Nalius, making them back out a bit further. However, that's just a bunch of buttons pushed, a bunch of abilities traded, but not much happening in the meantime, as I'm going to zoom out ever so slightly. Roganoff does burrow up. Ouija takes a fair amount of damage there. Excellent route by Butte Holiday. Ouija being forced in still by Nullius, getting a lot of damage. However, that parry did keep him alive throughout that engagement. Oh, I got a new favorite, Greymane. They picked up a talent that I love to talk about. It's not the best talent of his tier by any means, but it is Wizened Duelist, Wizened Duelist. I don't know. It's stack more. It's fun. I know the normal one is the extra attack range, I believe, and it'll be first Web Weaver going over for the side of amateur opponents. Right, and we do see both sides have level 7s. This Sylvanas build leads me to believe it may be a mind control Sylvanas. We are seeing what looks to be a very much a single target blow up style build. Sylvanas is probably an amazing hero to do that, so we'll see where that goes from there. And we do see that Polymorph stun combo going out to Sonics, and that will be Sonics going down. Fortunately, didn't have too much of the way of Wizened Duelist, so not really losing out on the stacks per se, but not ideal. And we do see the team of amateur opponents decide to just push down this middle gate with their Web Weaver. And gets a reasonable amount of value that time as they got this bottom tower and get the top tower and gate. Sorry, they got all of the gate in mid, and now they are pushing in bottom. We do see Sylvanas using her trait of black arrows to take down a decent portion of that building. And that will be it going down. Ouija staying a bit longer to hit that Q. Wasn't necessary, however, it did make the building. It did help secure the building, even if it did risk Ouija a bit too much for my liking, at least. We're just seeing some safe play coming out. Both teams getting out bruises. Probably a bit more important for the side of amateur opponent currently, as it will be probably the Web Weaver coming over for the red side next. However, we don't know how this will pan out, as I was saying, but very late pickup by Kalphus on Talent Sphere. As the blue side does have an excellent blow up with that Varian, Greymane, and what's the name? Sylvanas. Oh, hello, Sir Ellen. How are you doing tonight? I see you here on the Sylvanas, so I wonder where you came from. We do have some very safe play happening here. Just a lot of posturing. We do see 10s coming through both sides. Curse Bullet, I did have an inkling that was going to be the case. I was wrong with Sylvanas, however, we do see Wang Arrow. That is an excellent stun combo coming out to Sonic Spro. Sonic Spro will be going down first. Very unfortunate for the Greymane. And that will be a turn and likely going over to the side of Spooky Ghosts. This camping just slowly cleared, safely cleared. I do like it. The thing I'm most interested about currently is this use of Echo Pedal. It's not seen as much recently. You do usually see the loudspeaker. I don't know. Oh, excellent turnaround by Ouija. However, they won't be quite getting out in time. Yep, there's just slightly too much damage coming out, and there's an excellent kill just under the gates. That is very unfortunate timing, as that is the tank down. Sure, we have excellent clears still left by Sonic Spro and Sir Alan, but they do very much have to play around their buildings now and are susceptible to any sort of building dive. Butte Holiday also has to play relatively safe. However, we do see that Decker does have their ult up in 10 seconds. It is a great disengage tool. It is very good for saving people. I know I have been saved by my healer of Born to Shine, using it in a few instances, saving my butt in multiple occasions, and that is a Greymane going down. However, ETC is lost in the process. That is not ideal for when you are pushing. That is a good taunt coming out onto Boundrix. However, we did see that dash out, and the Brightwing did use their... What is that called again? I can't remember what the ability is called. Pixie Dust? Spooky Ghost does have a good name, as said by Ghost Shop. Understandably so. Right, quickly run over 10s because I still haven't wrestled them out yet. We do have Stay a While and Listen. We have Railing Arrow. Railing? As in to make train tracks? I don't know. Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas. Cursed Bullet from Greymane. Entomb from Leoric. Ouija taking a lot of damage, does have the parry up. It keeps having to back out. They did go the Warbringer, so does have more dashes, and they are able to dash to allies, giving them a disengage. On the right-hand side of Spooky Ghost, they do have the Commander Odin, the Mosh Pit. The Brightwing did pick up Blink Heal, Adaptation from the Dahaka, and Phoenix from Kael'thas. Good zone control from the Kael'thas, and that will be a second Web Weaver phase going over to the side of Spooky Ghost. I keep having to look to my right-hand monitor because that's where I have OBS. So I just see the names of both teams. I'm like, ah, yes, that's right. Just for anyone who wants a little bit of behind-the-scenes knowledge. Ouija having to back out. There's a root coming out onto them. Oh, no. Excellent sleep. That's Cursed Bullet coming out. Greymane takes out, well, team effort manages to blow up the Tigers. Nullius will be next to go down, get some mosh off. Rogoff does teleport into the backline. Butte Holiday throws out the root, gets a decent amount off. However, that will be a forced disengage on the side of Ouija, and that is Greymane unfortunately going down. A lot of the siege, I guess, well, a lot of the way to deal with these Web Weavers is from that Greymane, so now all they really have is Sylph to defend. Not the Underworld, of course, but it is a bit frustrating, maybe a bit annoying just to be losing Greymane at this point. Greymane, I mentioned 0 stacks on Wizened or Wizened Duelist. If someone wants to tell me how to pronounce it in chat, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to start saying it progressively more wrong over time. Leoric does have to use Ray Fork to get out, as they do have 31 gems and not wanting to lose it. We do see this rotation coming down from the three people of Butte, Sonic Boom, and Ouija. Oh, good camera work, me. We're likely to see Entomb. Excellent Tomb does manage to catch 2 of them. Curse Bullet comes out, does not quite find a target. That is Ulysses taking a lot of damage. Rogoff taking a lot, however, they did have Adaptation up and is able to heal off all that damage. Nullius being next to be charged, however, Taunt not off, so cooldown for another 5 seconds. Again, we're seeing a lot of buttons pushed, however, no kills coming out for either side. This is almost anyone's game, even though the side of Spooky Ghost has gotten more kills. Ulysses does finally get those gems off him. Those 31 gems in the bank safely, as that was what I could only call a bit scary. You don't want your offlaner having gems for that long, as they are more susceptible to getting picked. However, Leoric is probably one of the best to escape picks with his Wraith Walk. We now see Web Weavers for the blue side. Waves, relatively even. We do have a spot lane in favor for amateur opponents, so that should do a little bit. But we do have this Web Weaver stopping about mid as well as the top one. We do see the red team trying to get top first. That's perfectly fine. Oh, they decide to back off of it. Rogoff being left top alone in a beast is Greymane's W talent, for people who do not know, the thing that gives him his extra attack speed bonus. I like this rotation from the side of amateur opponents going up onto this tower. Keep fort. I definitely know what this game is on about. Don't question me. I've gone in too far. There we go. We see Commander Odin pop, so it feels like it's slightly too late as this building is taken. There is now no reason for amateur opponents to stay, however they're choosing a fight. There's an excellent sleep coming out from Butte Holiday, catching off Rogoff and Brightwing. Brightwing phase shifts down, however, that will be Dahaka using Adaptation, using their trait. They're using all the health bars possible. That is still not enough to let them survive the onslaught that is amateur opponents, as they'll continue pushing into this. They were slowly pushing that tower, however, Web Weaver will go down here. We'll mention that throughout all this, Eric with a K was doing other things on map, and this Web Weaver did get the front gate and a decent amount as well as a decent amount of siege pressure on, but is not able to get much more. Actually, about half the building is a reasonable amount more, but not too much more. Now we see Boss being taken. Greymane again, excellent for doing these sorts of things. Banner of Dalaran taken by Ouija on Varian. Okay. Names are hard. I'm just going to put that out there. Names are very hard for me sometimes, especially character names. There's 90 of these heroes to remember. I don't know how professional people do it. Practice, obviously, but do they have turn? They do indeed have turn, and that will be back-to-back Web Weaver phase as well as a boss. Ugh. That is 16. Actually, no, 16 was picking up a while ago. That was the level 1 done by Dahaka of Enhanced Agility. This boss is going to... Oh my lord, that is an excellent Entomb. However, Ulysses will go down first. Web Weaver will help out the... No, that's not Web Weaver. The Sand Golem will help out the allied team. Ouija taking a lot of damage, is forced to back out. Oh my lord, I don't know how Ouija survived there. Excellent healing, probably. That is next to Haka going down. Little Wolf trying their best to keep allies up, but phase shift sometimes just takes a bit too long in some instances. I think it was used earlier, but I'm not sure if it went off. There'll be this building going down, as that is a Web Weaver and Sand Golem on it. Sand Golem is just about down, however, is a root coming out from the healer. Curse Bullet hits Eric with a K. Ouija goes in very deep to get the Brightwing. Not much follow-up in terms of the allied team. A bit over-aggressive by the side, by Ouija, but however, it wasn't really a punishment. Ulysses is going also very aggressively on positioning. Brightwing was sitting in core. It does phase shift to Boundrix. Eric with the K also very low, does have 20 gems with him, cannot afford to go down. And that will be Ulysses. Buddy goes down. That's very unfortunate. Ouija goes back in. Bill was not quite positioning for it. Curse Bullet goes out. That will be Boundrix going down. Excellent dive by the Greymane. So Ellen doing their best to kill Eric with the K. Eric with the K forced to pop that Mana Addict, that Mana Barrier, which, for anyone who doesn't know, is a shield basically equal to your max MP. Yep. Not much more to say about that in all honesty. Dahaka being taunted, able to back out. Eric with a K gets phase shifted on, barely in time as Sonic's Bro did dive on that Kael'thas, and they did not have that mana shield back. Mana barrier? One of the two. We do see Mosh's back up on ETC. If the grouping is even slightly... If amateur opponents even group up slightly too much, that there will be a lot of damage coming out. That can come out from the side of Spooky Ghost. Spooky Ghost is excellent AoE damage as well as AoE zone control with that Dahaka, with that ETC, while we do see definitely that pick style comp coming off from the side of amateur opponents. However, Leoric does open up that zoning capability, that zone control capability with Entomb. In fact, I'm pretty certain we're going to see the Buried Alive. However, every time I try to predict things in games, they turn out to be wrong, so we'll see. I could just look like an idiot once again. I will mention that in terms of gem counts, we do see that the red side of Spooky Ghost is much closer to their turn-ins. However, that is Storm Talent over for the side of amateur opponents, as we see Deckard pick up, Respect the Elderly, Sylvanas pick up Bolt of the Storm, Varian pick up for, Glory to the Alliance, the banner upgrade that makes banner much better. That is Hunter's Blunderbuss. Yep, Hunter's Blunderbuss from Greymane, so the AoE splash on his bullet, which I should also mention is up to 11 stacks on Wizened Duelist now, will stack up. Rogoff does not quite get the tongue off, that's very unfortunate, and yep, Buried Alive from the Leoric, as we see Leoric getting very aggressive to get something off, potentially make a play. And we do see Core being slowly pushed now, that W going off. Ouija does taunt that. Excellent Mosh coming out, gets Ulysses first. You beat Holiday taking a lot of damage. However, vacuuming up the rubies like no one's business. That will be Greymane going down. Varian soon to follow, 9% left on core is... Nope, the Sylvanas isn't able to do it. Butte Holiday is just doing the best they can, hitting that core with their stick. Hitting with abilities at 3%, 2%, 1%, and... Ah! That is the Deckard barely finishing things off with the help of at least a minion and a catapult minion at least, but ooh, that was a very close call for the side of amateur opponent. Sorry, just doing a little bit of a stretch over here, a little bit of a yawn. I hope anyone else is yawning now. You're welcome. Anyway, I'm going to pull up the game summary screen as I click this button. Wrong screen. Anyway, we saw... I like to touch on the healers first. I prefer healers. Healers personally my favorite. We do see Deckard slightly outdoing outdoing Brightwing by a reasonable amount in terms of healing. not too much to write home about, as there was a lot of AoE damage on the side of Spooky Ghost, while amateur opponents did have that more burst style comp. The burst blow up style comp. So while not everyone was saved from that, Brightwing did their best to at least prevent the blow up from happening with that pixie dust with that phase shift. Otherwise, the other things to note is Leoric did a lot of siege for the allies, as well as Kael'thas did actually the most siege for, I said the allies, amateur opponents, as well as Kael'thas did a lot of siege, but pretty comparable soak to Dahaka. And saying that, Sylvanas did very comparable soak to Leoric. I am going to quickly look at some talents. I have seen VLT Unto Death picked up a bit more on Leoric as level 1. Most people usually go the... For a long time, it's been Ossian's Renewal, just because it does have that extra burst heal in fight. But interesting to see Paralyzing Rage, as actually we see the full percent damage build coming out from Leoric. We don't see them going down that one path, we see them going down both the auto attack and the W percent damage. It did end up working out by the looks of it, as the blue team of amateur opponent did win. However, I'm unsure whether that was the pick. Yep. I remember the one thing I was most curious about was Rogoth picking up the adaptation. Well, it definitely does a lot to add to Dahaka's survivability, as we saw that they did burn through multiple health bars in a lot of instances and did survive actually a few times because of it. We did also see a few times it just kind of not really paying off, which is unfortunate to say. I do wonder whether Isolation would have been the pick here. However, it's too hard to say, as we didn't see it picked, so we don't know how it could have gone. Otherwise, Tychus went normal percent damage build. Again, I pointed out what I thought was weird of ETC. Otherwise, everything looks very standard. The other thing that was interesting to watch was Wise and Duelist. Didn't get the most value. It didn't quite get to the 30% that I was hoping for in the end, but at least did get to I want to say a 16 stacks at one point before they died. Anyway, those are the builds. If you want to try them, I'm sorry, but Tychus, Brightwing, and Kael'thas didn't pick any talent in time, so if you want to know what they were going to go, ask them. You could talk to people in this div, which is the fun thing to do. But right, I am going to take a quick break as I set up map 2. See you all on the other side of draft. Yeah. I've already muted myself. Right. Infernal Shrines is opening as we speak. Again, I do not know who picked this. I do not know if Spooky Ghost went map pick or first pick, but we do know that this was the map that was chosen. Right, you hear the prepare yourselves for battle, and that means that is our game ready, so let's jump on into it. As I click this button, we go on over, and we see that the side of... Actually, let's start with introducing Spooky Ghost first, as we see Nullius on the Sonya, Eric with a K on Medivh, Little Wolf on Stukov, Boundrix on... Is that a Gul'dan? It is a Gul'dan, and Rogoth on Stitches. That is a good pick hero. On the left-hand side, we see Butte Holiday on Malfurion, Sonic Spro on Tychus, Sir Alan on Jaina, Ulysses, I think I'm still saying that right, on Leoric, and who am I missing? Ouija on the Joanna. Ouija gets hooked very early on, takes a lot of damage actually from this decent burst that came out, but actually not much happens in all. I do like the Gul'dan pick here. It adds actually a lot of wave clear for this early part of the game, as we do see that sustained damage coming out. Medivh also can get a decent amount of sustained damage if they're consistent with their Qs hitting. I've pushed a button. We're looking at Leoric now. No. Reminder that offlaners exist. There you go, just offlaners. Anyway, we're getting the normal rotations. Rogoff is just playing very back. The thing about Stitches is Stitches does not bring the most in terms of CC. Is probably the best way to say it. Their main CC is their hook as well as their slam adding a slow. It's not really the most up until we see level 16, but that will be Tychus going down first as they're focused down by the enemy team. Eric with K getting very aggressive at portal, however, we will not see much happen with it. Ouija being slowly chased down, however, not much comes from it, as again, as I was saying, Stitches doesn't have a most CC, does have Hook, Hook being a very scary ability to most people, but if it is well managed and you know where the Stitches is, you should be safe most of the time. I do like what Little Wolf is doing here, getting that vision onto that well so the goats, the spears, the siege camp gets damage onto it. Nullius misses the pull, so Ellen actually gets pulled by Rogoff, but nothing will come of it. As the team for Spooky Ghost is just slightly too far back. What is happening at this point in time? Ouija getting very aggressive. It's just Butte Holiday and Ouija down in the spot lane against the 4-man of Spooky Ghosts. As we do see this camp being started by Sonic Spro. Can Tychus solo camps? I'm going to find out. It doesn't look like it, as both Sir Ellen and Butte Holiday have to come assist them. And we do see again another camp being taken by the side of Spooky Ghosts. Spooky Ghosts actually getting a very early mercenary advantage. They have managed to take both the not the ally camp. I keep saying ally because it's blue. That's my whole reasoning. No one questioned it. But amateur opponents camp as well as their own camp and now bottom camp has a lot of extra mercenary experience. Ouija does scout the bush, doesn't actually find anyone, but it is taken anyway by the 4-man. It should be interesting seeing where the shrine goes, as both teams have pretty comparable shrine clear, with the team of amateur opponents having both the Auric and the Jaina, while the right-hand team of Spooky Ghosts has Gul'dan, or Gul'Daniel as some people call him, and Sonya. Ouija getting very aggressive very early on. Eric with the K just kind of floating around that bird form does get first Q off. Actually, speaking of Qs, let's have a look. We're at 21 stacks of Arcane Conviction, or I really call it Arcane Conviction. That's not what it's called, I just call it that. Arcane Rift. And that will be actually this Sonya going down first. Very unfortunate, as this portal was just a bit too far back. Maybe used a bit too early for something else. So Sonya was stranded. Butte Holiday gets hooked and drops the root. Eric with a K, unfortunately, actually it's gone up to the 32 stacks, but that will be Butte Holiday, or Malfurion going down to the silence of Stukov. As we see, Stukov did go that low blow at level 1, which now does 125% damage to heroes under 50% health. However, that is the Arcane Punisher going over to the side of amateur opponents. Very good start. However, again, we do see that there is a kill advantage over the side of Spooky Ghost to begin with. There's not much that comes from it, just because of this experience, how experience works in the early game. But yeah, Sir Ellen manages to dodge Rogoff's hook. Wait. Wasn't Rogoff a Dahaka last game? What changed? Who was the tank last game? What are names? Nullius was on ETC, that was the difference. Okay, sorry, I apparently forgot a lot. Butte Holiday able to back out. Does run upwards. The Q from Eric with a K does find Sir Ellen, but doesn't actually find Butte Holiday. Butte Holiday was able to escape on low health. Sonic Spro does have to use his... chooses to use a dash up. Wasn't necessary, but as a lot of people will say, better be safe than sorry, as I'm going to close this until level 10s come up. You know, actually, I'm just going to, for fun, where is it? There's some APM for people. I hope people like numbers. Butte Holiday apparently had 0 APM for a while, even though she was moving around. Very impressive. I do wonder how people can put in 0 button presses and move around. I feel like somehow a lot of my Storm League teammates do. Yeah. Storm League is a wild ride, and that is both Gul'dan and Medivh getting their stacks off. The important thing to know is, since Medivh got their stacks off, they're no longer able to lose that quest. Very unfortunate. Sonic Spro is pulled by the Stitches. That is Medivh going to sleep. Rogoff starting to step in. There's a lot of damage coming up from the side of Spooky Ghost. That is both Leoric and Malfurion. And now Jaina going down. Ouija being forced to back out as there's a lot of damage coming out. Eric with a K doesn't quite have portals, so doesn't have that chase up. And this will be level 10s coming through. I feel like, yep, Stitches goes Gorge. Leyline from Medivh. Pretty standard one so far. Fair from Gul'dan. This is probably the scary one considering how close these objectives are. Flailing swipes from Stukov. Good disengage. And leap from Sonya. A good engage and an extra stun. Something that Stitches comps actually lack is a engage. And Nullius will add this with leap. So I'd like to see where we go from here. The siege slowly coming through. Gul'dan just pushing his Q button from 10 miles away as Gul'dans can do. And we see that the right-hand side, left-hand side of amateur opponents gets Entomb on the Leoric. Blessed Shield on Joanna. Commander Odin on Tychus. Water Elemental on Jaina. And Twilight Dream on Malfurion. And that is Malfurion hooked and gorged. And that will be a portal combo. So that will be the Malfurion going down here, unfortunately. Bear managed to hit both Ulysses and Ouija, and that is Butte Holiday going down to the backline to the keep. Eric with a K uses Leyline, does not quite find anyone. However, the damage has been done. Malfurion is down, and that is Shrine being called without the team of amateur opponents having their healer. Hook is dodged by Sonic Spro. Rogoff probably get a bit more aggressive with that hook, with their positioning of it. They went quite a defensive line. But they probably, if they went a bit more aggressive on the hook, it may have actually found someone. I do like that at the point in time that amateur opponents decide to get value elsewhere currently, as they know they cannot step back onto this objective. As, oh sorry, yawning. Malfurion only just respawned. Leoric being very aggressive on the Sonya, manages to get the creepy hand off, just sustaining a little bit. And this was free away for the side of... Oh, that is Leoric going down. Very unfortunate. Tychus dashes in. I feel like a hook's about to come off for Rogoff. Gets actually an ally hook out onto Little Wolf and saves him. Excellent stuff. That grenade manages to find the Gul'dan. That is very unfortunate for Gildaniel themselves. However, I feel like this objective will still go over to the side of... Yep, Spooky Ghost. As we see Nullius actually going down here. Blizzard coming out. Doing a little bit of damage on the Rogoff. Rogoff really not bothering about it. Stitches is a big boy, and he's able to eat a lot of damage. And that's Ouija getting jumped. I feel like Hook's about to come out. A Hook Gorge maybe. How hungry is Stitches feeling? We can see him pondering it, pondering questions of life, and deciding for maybe a different prey. Ulysses gets gorged. Now, Wraithwalk should be up. Now the question is whether that's a good time to silence that bear. Keeps Ulysses back in. Ulysses not quite being able to escape, but lives a bit longer than I thought they would. That's very surprising. And we did see this Punisher was cleaned up. Good work by the side of Spooky Ghosts. Maybe not getting the most value from that Punisher they could have, but getting yet another pick. Sure, Leoric does have their trait. They're able to get the creepy hand out onto someone we're dead, and as they heal health, they'll respawn. And this will actually be a 5-man invade onto... Ooh, that is a very good friend hook. His Little Wolf seemed a bit thrown off by it almost. They stood still for a little bit. And that will be the camp taken by the side amateur opponents. Hook doesn't find anyone. That is extended hook range now that 13 has come through, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. Stitches in a recent rework, whenever they hit 13, automatically gets Fishing Hook, the extra range, which opens up their talent tree on 13 by quite a bit, as a lot of people who played against them will know that Fishing Hook was almost always picked. There's almost never a time to pick any of our talents, and that will be a Gorge onto the Tychus, and a kill onto the... Now, I think there was a play to be made there. Maybe not. Maybe not a play to be made there, but maybe a... What's a better way to put it? A choice to be made there that probably didn't involve using a 100-second cooldown. I think it may have been a panic... In saying that, it was probably a panic click. I don't hold that against Vitikus, actually. I know in a lot of situations I'll go, push button live, please? It doesn't always work out for me, and unfortunately it didn't work out for Tychus in this instance. Nullius hits a minion with their spear, pull, chain, I don't know what it's called, but yeah. We're seeing very safe play from the side of Amateur Opponent now. They are respecting this hook by quite a bit, as unfortunately as Stitches, okay, we know where Stitches is now, they can play a bit more aggressive, but as Stitches hidden anywhere is quite a lot of, can cause quite a lot of problems. However, Eric with a K, we do see scouting potentially for that Stitches hook to find someone. Yeah, we're checking this camp. We're checking the bushes. Yep. Eric with a K is actually using their Raven form as scouting for Rogoth's hook. I do like this. However, it is a bit of a tell where Rogoth is, maybe not entirely, but a little bit. Ulysses was thinking about stepping into that, however, does think better as we decide to rotate to the allied team. The team of Amateur Opponents here are deciding to take a structure for structure approach here. As we do see bot going down, we may actually see the rotation onto mid, making it a 2-for-1 building trade. However, we do see, oh, we're getting a little bit of questioning here happening here. They thought about the siege camp, but bruiser camp, they kind of pondered a bit and kind of just wasted a bit of time, unfortunately. The more I think about this comp on the side of Spooky Ghost, the more I like it actually is Stitches is a pick tank. They do not have a good engage. Is probably their largest problem. However, that's fixed with both, actually 3 of the not enemy heroes. Sorry, I keep saying enemy ally. I just see blue red and think ally enemy. Ah, but Spooky Ghost comp is fixed a lot by some of the heroes to have, and that will be, unfortunately, Tychus going down to the Gorge. As I was saying, Stitches doesn't have the most engage. However, Boundrix on the, I'll just say the hero name here because it's easier. Gul'dan has a pseudo engage. I would say it can be. I'd say it's used a lot more in PL like messy team fights, but can be used as a pseudo engage as a horrify. If it hits the right side of the enemy, will push them into you. Something you don't want to happen. Sonya has leap, an excellent engage tool, especially if you don't have it. Oh, not quite quick enough in rotation, but they are opening up that extra pressure. And to go back on my original point, Eric with a K has portals, Medivh portals. Medivh portals are also very good for it. It turns any hero into essentially an engage hero, a dive hero almost. And we do see that has happened with Rogoth a little bit, as we see this Stitches just jumping over it, coming back, trying that little nonsense. But however, it has been largely used to the Gorge move away combo. That is jump. Hook barely misses Sir Alan. Sir Alan just moving a bit too much for the Stitches to hit them there. Blizzard's just hitting this Immortal very slowly. Ulysses goes with that Wraithwalk build, which is damage reduction at the 13, as well as bonus damage at the 16. Excellent dodge from the hook. Rogoth not quite getting that hook timing and Punisher jump down. For anyone who doesn't know, the Punisher jumps every 15 seconds and Rogoth doesn't quite have it. Portal goes out. I don't know if this is quite... I don't think that's a very good portal. That time stop is excellent as... It was excellent as Stitches was holding on for a bit longer than they should. However, the time stop did kind of travel a bit too much over as with the bubble, as there's not enough protection to save the Stitches. Eric with a K trying their best to live does get that portal out, but however does not get out themselves. Excellent building take. That is a good shield coming out, and oh, maybe not. Little Wolf does escape, not quite enough to trap the Stukov in and kill them. Whew, really serious, my word. I just keep yawning, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not bored, I swear, I'm just end of a work day, quite tired. Right on, just keeping a look at this, seeing where the momentum is going. We see this wave is pushed out back quite a bit for this side of Amateur Opponent. However, we do see that this push come out. Ooh, hook! Doesn't quite find any of the enemy heroes. Finds a dog from a shaman, but does not find a hero as gate and tower is taken from the top keep. We're getting a lot of safe play now coming out from both sides as we are getting to that reach 20 and see what happens. Stage of the game. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be yawning this much. Hook does not find anyone, as in fact no one was near it, as all the people on the side of amateur opponent were safe behind their gates at the current point in time. At that current point in time, rather. We do see 20s coming, Storm Talents coming through first from the side of Spooky Ghost as they get aggressive immediately. However, camp will be taken before they can reach for that. As Blessed Shield coming out, hitting 3 other members on the side of Leap comes out. There's Ariat Crater? A Crepe Maker? And that is actually Tychus going out first. Jaina completes their quest here. Rogoff did manage to board with Joanna. Gets him a portal just in time. Oh no, they didn't. Ouija popped out at the perfect time, barely surviving the portal incursion. That will be Sonya going down to Ellen. It's just stalling for time at this point. Butte Holiday in a very interesting position, and that will be, unfortunately, Jaina going down. Entomb was used here. I don't know what can actually do much to follow it up. We're seeing that Stitches is just harassing the enemy healer while the rest of the team is choosing to disengage. Stitches uses Hook, hits Ulysses. Ulysses taking a decent amount of damage, however... Oh, that cooldown Corruption does a lot. Not enough to confirm that kill, however. That will be a Hook coming out again, so that does confirm that it is Master Hooker from the Stitches. Medivh cheats from Medivh. Ariat Crater on Sonya. A Horrify upgrade of Haunt on Gul'dan, and the Swipes upgrade of Controlled Chaos on the Stukov. On the left-hand side, we see Life Loom. A 10% heal instantly on the Leaf instead of the Hot. Winter Mute from Jaina. Oh, I don't see the Talent pick that much. Can do this all day from Tychus, as we did actually see that Overkill build coming through, something we don't see often. Blinded by the light. Radiating Faith from the Joanna, and Buried Alive from the Leoric to round off the Storm Talents. Now, we see this played out very smart by the side of Spooky Ghost, as they have 39 of these Shrine minions. They know they don't actually have to stay on it and do it. This can actually scale as time goes along, and they only need to get 1 minion to finish it off. Ouija gets hooked, Gorge. There's a very early portal. We do see that Portal Mastery at 1 paying off. That is an excellent timed Iron Skin from Ouija, as both Hook, Gorge, and Horrify were used, yet no kill was found. That is a 2-for-1 ult. 2 ults for nothing, essentially. Just an Iron Skin, which sure is a 25-second, 20-second cooldown, but was a lot. And that's Eric of the Cave finishing off the objective. Butte Holiday does manage to trap the... Oof, that's unfortunate. Twilight Dream was used, however, Portal is still usable when you are silenced. So that is the Medivh getting out. I can close this now, as we know what the talents are. Punisher is pushing in. I like it. And there's a hook on Ouija yet again. The Iron Skin does come out, so they are not stunned by the Punisher as a follow-up. However, that is a Mortal Punisher. I should mention, this is a 19-minute 18.5, 19-minute Punisher, and will actually be stacking up the damage quite well. Punisher is pushing in, gets the jump onto 2, and that is a Gorge onto the Leoric. Excellent control, excellent swipe from Stukov, as that keeps Joanna away from the stun, and that will be Ulysses going down. That will be the tower gate going down. Excellent hook onto Sir Ellen. Sir Ellen now in danger, and that will be them falling almost immediately. Sleeproot does hit Nullius as well as Rogoff, however, it will not be enough to deter them from taking this keep. Excellent dodge by Solix, bro. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning again. Oh, it's so boring, man. I swear. Gonna keep us keep, and keep goes down to that last Kata shot. We're getting a... Oh, we're getting a finish call here. They have time. Leoric is not up for another 10 seconds. Hook hits Sonic's bro. Joanna goes in. Nullius does not hit anything with that Ariat Crater. Excellent use of the flailing swipe by Little Wolf. That is Twilight Dream going out. That's Sonya. A lot of a siege of Spooky Ghost going out, and that will be a Horrify used and a disengage. However, Ulysses goes down once again. This Leoric is dying a bit too much, maybe. However, I do like that they are trying their best to keep their keep the pressure on at least with vision. As they have Eric with a K giving vision, they may as well have their own vision. This time with a ghost, however, as opposed to some sort of bird. I know it's a raven, please don't question it. Alright, just gonna quickly just zoom out, just show you what's happening. Look at some numbers, let's look at have an APM. Just for fun, there you go, here's some APM. Don't know how there's zeros on here. Doesn't like... Sir Alan apparently wasn't clicking his mouse for a while. I don't judge, just saying. I just like these numbers sometimes. It's just dumb. APM does not matter in this game, it's just a fun, dumb stat to have. Anyway. Here comes a hook. Hits Ouija, Ouija is Gorge. That is very unfortunate for the side of Spooky Ghost. However, Ouija did have Iron Skin. That is Medivh. Cheats comes out. Is diverted. Butte Holiday dodges both the ley line and the hook. Excellent positioning from them. Oh, excellent movement from them. A very underrated thing in this game at the current point in time. Positioning, yes. Movement, not so much. It's kind of like Overwatch. Yeah, movement is underrated, and I don't know why I always end up talking about Overwatch. I am not very good at that game either. Very aggressive here. Excellent Sorcerer coming out, and that is the Horrify coming out. Stun follow-up. Butte Holiday and Joanna barely caught by the edge of that. Wasn't caught in the crater. However, Jaina will get 2 for the side of Amateur Opponent, as that was a lot of murder in a very short amount of time. Nullius doesn't quite hold on. Portal did go out from Eric with a K, however did not manage to save anyone. So Ellen very low still, and that will be Ulysses also backing out. Core is just taking damage from these catters. Just slowly, 4% per shot, and that is another 4%. Ulysses did back to protect it. I don't think I would have sent Leoric here, in all honesty. I think I'd rather see people, someone, Sonic Pro or Sir Ellen, as they're both quite low, and Leoric does have that self-sustain. And even now saying that these two alone of this camp is very risky, as we have a almost full health Medivh. Oh no. Oh, that, yep. Leyline comes out. We do see the elemental pop. What elemental pop? Eric is slowly losing their health. Does mess up their first Q, so it doesn't have it to hit for Jaina. Jaina actually ice blocks, and that will be Medivh going down. Excellent play by Sir Alan there. Excellent bait, and that is very good timing on the Medivh kill. Right, let's just recenter this as this objective is now up, as I can zoom in slightly. Oh, gosh, I forget how many levels of zoom there are! I can even zoom all the way in if we want, just here's Stitches. Yes. Actually, no, it will be a fight breaking out as Ulysses does get bad. Entomb off, Leap goes out onto the backline. Boundrix does use the fear. Butte Holiday was unable to do anything that whole time. Very unfortunate. That will be Little Wolf actually going down. So that is a healer from healer. Ulysses losing their health, does not actually have their creepy hand down. Everyone will be next to go down. And that is now a 3v2. Somewhere you don't want to be. I believe Rogoff just missed their hook. Very unfortunate. That would have made... If someone did go down there, that would have been a definitive end, maybe. We do have a lot of siege over on the side of Spooky Ghosts. However, they do not have their Stukov for another 40 seconds. Oh boy. Rogoff being very slow here. Alright. Creepy Handman can do that. Yeah. I do like that value is getting elsewhere during this phase, as they cannot currently push into this objective, as there is a number advantage over the side of Spooky Ghosts. Oh, wait, what? Mid-4 went down. Okay, we now have a win condition open for both sides. The next wipe essentially will be a win for either team. We see a 39 here, however, they do not do the same as last time and choose to pick it up pretty much immediately. I feel like this is going to be a map 3. Anyway, we're getting this wave pushed in. This is a Arcane Punisher going onto a relatively low keep and onto a 75% core. This should be... If someone goes down here, that is a problem. That is Ouija getting jumped. Iron Skin does come out. Not much more was committed to it. There was no ults apart from Water Elemental. And that will be the first fort going down. Ouija gets hooked, gorged, and then through the portal. So the rest of the ally team chooses to hit the Punisher. Butte Holiday getting very low actually. That was very concerning. That is a Horrify that goes out, and that was a lot of CC going out onto the tank of Amateur Opponents that Joanna did fall. This Punisher has actually also almost fallen. That jump goes out onto the Stukov. I thought Sonic Bros out. They managed to dodge the leap, however, they could not dodge the hook or their fate, as that would be V-Tychus going down. This is now core falling 70%, 60%, 50%. There's not much that the team of Amateur Opponent can do, as there's just so much good zoning and siege coming out from the side of Spooky Ghost, and that will be map 2 going over to the side of Spooky Ghost, as I will quickly update the score and show you the stats and talents. Boop. Stukov did excellent healing this game, made up for their slight healing deficit last game, did beat out Malfurion. Both are excellent sustain healers, especially for his objectives. However, Stukov is quite strong currently, even with that silence build in terms of healing numbers. Otherwise, we did see a far more kills coming out for the side of Spooky Ghosts. As I'm doing it again. As Stitches was getting those picks, however, once 10s came around, the Sonya and Gul'dan were just doing a lot of extra engage that Stitches kind of needed. I did like both comps, however, this one did go over to the side of Spooky Ghost, as I'll quickly show off some talents. Here you go, for people who like to see talents. I didn't put on my game summary screen. I should really remember to do that a bit more. I know it doesn't quite matter because it's just going to be like this. Oh, there's a border around the same screen now. Big whoop. But here you go. I did say out a lot of the key talents throughout the game. And actually, I will throw it over to the map view. I'll set up the next map and actually get myself a drink of water. See you very shortly. Right. As we can see, we have a Sky Temple game. As I will open up I'm pushing the wrong button again to get back to OBS. There we go. As I am now opening up the game, and we'll actually jump straight into it once it opens up fully. And push button. Slightly late. Close enough. Slightly late. And we're getting I like Sky Temple. Well, I've come to like it more and more over the years. I never used to be a biggest fan, but I've had a bit of some blowouts here. But right, let's start with amateur opponents this time, as we did start with Spooky Ghost last time. We have Sir Alan on the Felstar, Ulysses on the Dahaka, Ouija back on that Varian, Butte Holiday on the Tyrande, and Sonic Bro on the Jaina. On the right hand side, we see Little Wolf back on the right wing, Nullius on the Joanna, Rogoff on Zeratul, Eric with a K on Medivh, and Boundrix on Sylvanas. Yes, Sylvanas. Very safe positioning so far. And yep. Wow, what a surprise. It's a Sylvanas. doing Sylvanas things. Yep, that's a tower down. Excellent stun coming out from the... I can never remember Tyrande. As we do see a lot of damage coming out. However, good thing to note is Ouija Vivarium does not have their taunt yet, as we see Spooky Ghost flying to mid. And we do see now that there is actually a lot of globals on the map. We do have 1 global, two globals, and 3 globals, I do like that we do have 2 very macro-orientated globals between the Dahaka and the Falstad. Both have good escapes, both can actually cover for each other, and if there is a temple or something that needs to get covered, there's a... Oh, that's an excellent owl hit, my word. And that actually is Rogoth going down, my word. That's a snipe and a half, wow. But Ulysses is doing a lot there. Okay, we're getting some very safe play. Early kills, as I say always, don't matter too much in terms of experience as well. A minion wave, more or less, gives you actually more experience, I believe, than 1 kill. So it is often considered not worth it. But if it's the offlaner who will then miss a wave or so of soak, which we see Ulysses actually freezing a lane to get rid of that soak for so Rogoth can't get the full value from it, that is a very smart play. See the owl once again flying up. Brightwing is showing top, but that means likely they have phase shift in case someone gets in danger. And we do see that the blue team of amateur opponents has very good control over this at the moment. Sonic Spore getting moving around a little bit. And now we see Variant going taunt. Right, we have what I would like to say is, in the most instances, the most traditional of blow-up comps. We have Tyrande stun and a Variant taunt. Variant taunt Tyrande stun is known to be actually a very big hassle in terms of that standard blow-up comp, as that is a long time to be stunned, and that is a lot of damage follow-up from both Sir Ellen on the Falstad and Sonic Spore on the Jaina. So I'm going to move this camera over here slightly. This is a lot taken already for level, for like pre the first temples. This is a lot taken. Sonic Spore is low on mana, is something to note. Falstad flies up and actually will get the soak mid before too much of it gets to that 25%, and Sonic Spore will be halving. Bruiser Camp was taken by the side of Spooky Ghost, so they do have a little bit extra macro pressure. And I think it looks like we may just have temples traded for now. Yep, it seems very much so. So I'm just gonna let you watch these temples just doing their thing. I can even bang. Right, there's things I haven't touched on. Talents. We do see the old attack build coming out from Falstad. I do like it quite a bit. I am very interested to see, as it is usually a % damage build needed for like bigger targets. We only see really Johanna, so should be interesting. We see Jaina goes both the mana talents actually at the moment, and we do see Fingers Frost slowly stacking as well as her baseline. The blue team actually manages to muscle out Spooky Ghost for now, as there's a lot of damage coming out. Taunt was used, and that is Brightwing going down first. Thank you to the Jaina. And that is, oh sorry, last thing to mention is tissue regeneration from the Dahaka, and we do see Laws of Hope from Johanna for the last of the quests outside of Arcane Rift, or as I like to call it, Arcane Conviction. As it's all lost on stack, as all stacks, if it's incomplete, are lost on death, and you're likely going to tilt. We see that Tyrande is trying to hit a lot of people with his owls. Speaking of birds, Eric with a K is scoping out this camp. Sees the enemies, circles around a bit, but thinks better than to land, which is the correct call. Sorry, just itching my nose. Okay, we're just getting against a lot of rather safe play. Eric with a K is trying their best to stack as much as they can. Does hit Ouija twice, getting them closer to that 40. Dark is showing that they can use Brush Stalker in 21 seconds. Very important, as that global does give them a fight advantage if need, especially if Rogoth is doing stuff top. The Tongue does manage to connect with the Zeratul, and that will be Ulysses taking a lot of damage, having to pop trait. That is actually Lurker Strain pushing is probably a better word for it, the Zeratul away, so that auto attack combo cannot quite get off fully on them. We do now have a number advantage bottom as well as the camp. That is that taunt stun combo that I was talking about from both the Varian and the Tyrande, and that will be the damage to follow up and kill the Johanna. This bottom 4 is essentially there. The amateur opponents for the taking, as we get to see, Tens is probably going to be a very important talent tier for the side of Spooky Ghosts. That's where they get a lot of very important tools, such as Ivor of Sylvanas' ult, Blizzard Shield, Leyline, all that jazz. But we don't even see Tens through for the side of... Actually, no, there it is. As I believe we're going to see, yep. More or less what's expected at the moment. All but one Hinterlands is used. Eric with a K and Little Wolf eating a decent amount of damage from it. Not really paying for it, but still not really happy that they would eat that much damage in such a short amount of time. Other things to note is Starfall from Tyrande. Water Ellie once again from Jaina. Isolation from Dahaka. This is something I was talking about earlier, as well as Warbringer from Varian. Again, that Warbringer does give an escape for Varian, as they are now allowed to charge to allies, and it is a shorter cooldown. It drops from 12 to 4, I think. 8 seconds. That makes sense. That could be it. Okay, we're seeing the side of... Nope, I see why. The amateur opponents decides to back out as they are missing the Dahaka at the current point in time. We do see Al flying up, and it is a... Should mention that is currently a 4v5. Ouija may have just realized it now. Dahaka is burrowing bottom. That is a taunt stun combo. Dahaka's tongue actually makes it so the beam misses. That Leyline hits for the enemy team. Sonic's Bro is hit by Condemn. Wailing Arrow comes out hitting 2. However, Tyrande getting cooldown reduction very likely for that auto attacks for her heal. Ulysses taking a lot of damage, having to pop that trait, and that is a lot of buttons pushed. No kills happening, but it is a lot of damage that went out. And actually, the team with the what is considered generally the worst healer of not worst healer, but Tyrande has in general lower healing outputs in terms of pure numbers than Brightwing, and we did actually see that for the most part. Oh, that's painful. I was going to say, for the most part, amateur opponents stayed out healthier, and actually, as I said there, that will be the Medivh losing their stacks of Arcane Rift, meaning they are back to 0 and far away from home. Getting this quest off is very important for Medivh, and that will make it much more difficult to come back later. Oh, sorry, I forgot to save a level 10s for Spooky Ghost. We have Blink Heal, Radiating Blessed Shield, Wailing Arrow, Leyline, and Might of a Nerazim? Yeah, Nerazim, sorry. As you see, Rogoth and Boundrix. We're thinking about this camp, however, with how spread out the team of Spooky Ghosts are, that they're not really able to do anything about this. Amateur opponent kind of has run over this area of map currently, especially now 13s are through. This pick comp is actually playing out very well in their favor, as considering how split everyone is, and it is leading to 1 or 2 picks every now and again. It's actually given them a 2 level advantage and level advantage, as well as a 4 kill lead, which also led to all 3 forts down from the side of Spooky Ghost, while amateur opponent still has all of them. And all in all, I think amateur opponents does have a better team fight comp for a while. I nearly said kite instead of fight. My words are good. Butte Holiday gets dove by Rogoth, however the Zeratul is unable to find anything. That beam hits, it looks like all of the members, and yep, that is a second beam out immediately. And actually here's a beam yet again. Is Sir Ellen brave enough to try and rip it once again to find anyone? No, they are not, and will choose to back out. What Ellie just being left to its own devices, and actually it is a nice snowman. Maybe not nice, but it was a snowman indeed. Ulysses getting what shots off they can, however will likely have to back out once they see Rogoth. Yep, and choose to do so. Good burrow here means that they will not take damage from the... Nope, can't remember what it's called. GG. The W from Zeratul. However, we did see at least half the shots taken by Dahaka there, and we will see all the shots likely taken bottom from the side of amateur opponents. The shots will slowly go out. Yep. This is a map very much where You don't need or even want to do anything risky when you are ahead. And we do see that, well, amateur opponents are ahead, so they are perfectly content with trading these temples out. Oh, that's unfortunate. That nearly went down. In fact, it may have been 1 or 2 shots away from going down fully. I'm pushing buttons, pushing buttons, pushing buttons, pushing buttons. Not pushing right button, pushing button. There we go. Eric with K just keeping scouting going. Again, they need those stacks, but they can't drop safe enough at the current point in time, especially because Varian will lock them down. Now maybe because Tyrande is a bit further away from them, they don't have that guaranteed taunt, stun combo. In saying that, we head up to Ulysses, and they do have Dahaka's tongue. Something that is very frustrating to get hit by, especially as you can be dragged while you are stunned. Okay, Owl comes out. There's a check on boss. We do see that now the blue team knows no one is there. Boundrix does back out after Winton changed your mind, backed out, teleport over wall. You know, Sylvanas things, as you do. There is a Shadow Dagger coming out. Just slowly destroying wave. Actually, what level 4 is it for Sylvanas? It is the Shadow Dagger talent on level 4, and that means every minion that dies as their with Sylvanas' curse or whatever it's called on it will explode and do damage to other minions within the wave. So Ellen uses flight to take this camp. I do like it. We are keeping that macro pressure on. It sounds like that their one key was used, as they have an activatable that gives them faster attack speed. 16 advantage over the side of amateur opponents as I quickly pull up talents. Yep, we do see that it was sustained wins, the percent damage, as well as the slow on the Hammerang. Okay. Tyrande goes the remove stuns, silences, slows. Yep, stun silences, slows. We do see silences, slows here. What are you? I think that's the silence as well on Brightwing. Yep, can deal with Brightwing. Can deal with actually a lot of hassle from the side of Spooky Ghosts. We do also see faster move speed borrow from Dahaka, and Ouija once again went that Banner of Dalaran. As I'll close this, as it's now. Alright, no, I'll show you the 16th from Pixel. So, Autotech build from Zeratul. We have Portal Mastery from Medivh. Is that called? Oh, that is a lot of damage coming out of Johanna. Johanna having to use Iron Skin, and Eric with K was a bit late on that Protect. However, this is a lot of the AoE damage coming out, so Ellen will be dove on by the Zeratul. However, Ulysses will hit that tongue, and that will be Zeratul going down next. Nullius is taking a lot of damage. We do see Varian has torn up once again and chooses to use it on the Johanna. Johanna will go down. Eric with K teleports back in. They're in a very dangerous spot. Will be getting stayed on by the Ulysses. Ulysses with that move speed, with that knockback from Lurker Strain, getting a lot of damage out on the Eric with K. Eric with K goes down once again. Arcane Rift being reset once again. Boundrix gets pulled by the Dahaka. Oh my lord, that is an end call, it looks, by the side of amateur opponent. Unfortunately for Ghost Shot, they said it looks like a comeback from Spooky Ghosts. However, we will not see a comeback happen on this series. We will not see the reverse sweep, as that is at least 4 of the members of amateur opponents on the core of Spooky Ghosts, and that will be the game and the series going over to amateur opponents. Well done to both teams. As I am going to quickly go into this and push this button here. Yeah, showing that's 2-1. Good to hear that you are still proud of someone that just so happens to have the same name as you. Ghost Shop. Spooky Ghost Shop. See, and I know you're not actually part of the team, as someone in this team would maybe be called Ghost Shop. Right, I'm actually going to pull up the talents. Actually, not talents, the stats to start. I liked having a standard way of doing it. I should really keep up the standard way of doing it. And I should change over to the game summary screen. There you go. Right, we do see, again, a low healing game, but that's because there was a lot of small, quick fights that did very much favor the side of amateur opponents, as they did have that pick comp. Brightwing did their best to try to save him. They did have at least a lot of healing and burst protection between the Medivh and the Brightwing. However, there was just slightly too much damage too much damage too quick for both the Brightwing and the Medivh to handle, as we did see just those 9 kills coming out very quick and not really much time to protect the people that are happening it. I should say before I get further on, I like Spooky Ghost comp idea. Their idea was to get onto a shrine and control it. However, that is very hard to do if you're always missing one piece of your comp. And, well, the amateur opponents were able to always remove one piece with that Varian, with that Tyrande, that, as I was saying, the taunt, follow-up, then kill potential between Jaina and Felstad was ultimately just too much, as well as, I should mention, Dark had a lot of soak during that game, picking up a lot of that extra minion siege, as well as, well, actually not too much, only 72k, as the shrines really did most of the work, but picked up a lot of that siege, as well as Falstad did pick up some here and there. All in all, it was a very close game from both sides. Right, we'll quickly show talents. If anyone likes to try any of these builds that happen here, here you go. I'll leave them up on the screen for a few seconds. Just going to contemplate the builds here. I'm just looking over it, seeing if there's anything that stands out in particular, and I don't think there is that I have already said. Wait, which one is that? Okay. This is an interesting one, actually, but did very much talent into the protecting from Jaina and Falstad. Falstad, however, was auto attack, so it did at least have some... did nullify Pixie Power a bit, but Pixie Power was picked up to try and nullify the Jaina, however, ultimately did not pay off in the end. Right, I shall throw it over to the final screen of the evening. Bang. As I would like to wish everyone who came along to the stream a good evening. Well played between amateur opponents and spooky ghosts. It's been a fun series to cast, and I will see you all in the Nexus. Have a good night, and thank you to everyone who came along once again.